Good afternoon, everyone. How are we all? Happy Wednesday. So, a week Friday. We're just over a week away from Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. And I don't know about you. I'm really excited about this now. I kind of criticised this at the time, but the more and more I think about this, do I think it's going to be closer than I thought originally at the time of announcement? Possibly. There's a few good points raised by people. I think Johnny Nelson was the one. This started a bit of controversy. But Johnny Nelson sort of said that in terms of Anthony Joshua, if Anthony Joshua loses against Ngannou, do we think is that the end? Personally, for me, other than a rematch, I suppose, which would be massive, I think for an Anthony Joshua, it's going to be quite hard to take if you lose to Ngannou, this two-fight novice, essentially. If you look at the way that he reacted after the second Usyk loss, the people sort of call it a little wobble in the ring, but that sheer devastation and disappointment that he couldn't win, that he couldn't do it. And if he loses to Ngannou, how will that affect him mentally? Other than a rematch, how do you come back knowing that you lost to a guy who was 1-1? I think for Joshua, that'd be very hard to take. I don't know. Part of me thinks that could mean retirement, but other than a rematch, which I'm sure there would be a rematch, which would be huge. Outside of that, and certainly if he lost a rematch, you do certainly think Joshua would retire, don't you? I'm not going to give you how I think. I've got a pretty concrete idea of how I think and expect this fight will go and the reasons in which I believe it will go that way. And I'll do that near the time. That'll be my big fight preview and breakdown. But yeah, I'm pretty confident this fight sticks to a script, and I'm pretty confident as to why. But I'll leave that till nearer the time. There's some footage of Ngannou about that I saw yesterday. It's pretty recent from what I think it may be like a week old. And there's also some footage and some sort of a short interview with his chef. Now, she said something quite interesting in that. She said that Ngannou had wanted his meal sizes and his portions and his calorie intake to be cut down because he wanted to be a bit lighter. Now, and in some of this footage, for me, and I don't know if I've just seen that way, but for me, Francis Ngannou's always had like a bit of the classic moon face, very sort of round, almost a puffy face. And he's never been ripped in the way that Joshua is ripped. But in this, with the chef saying that, and certainly what I saw, I kind of found Ngannou's facial features to be a little bit sharper. He looked like a little bit, and there's a bit of him in the swimming pool, and you can't see his midsection or his abdominal area specifically, but he did look a little bit kind of slimmer stroke smaller. I don't know what will come when we come around to the weigh-in, whether he will be lighter or not. But certainly with him talking about he wanted his diet to be less so he could cut a few calories and be a bit lighter. And if we put that against the fact that, as we know now, he said himself, Ngannou said that he elected for the 10-round distance. Essentially, the 10-round distance was what he had asked for. So you can only garner from that and assume from that he did struggle with cardiovascularly with even the 10-round distance, which I suppose you'd expect him to do so, being a novice at boxing 10-3s, and the fact that he's a huge guy, so he's going to. But I thought that was interesting, and it shows something about the professionalism and the approach that Ngannou is taking to this, that he recognised. And certainly in the Fury fight, I thought he looked like he was blowing from quite early on, and this would kind of indicate that in the approach he's taking to this. But I thought that was a great indication of kind of how he assessed himself and assessed the fact that he knew he had to make some changes in terms of that, in terms of the distance, and then maybe in terms of his weight to aid him on a cardiovascular point of view. So I thought that was interesting. He does seem to not carry any fear, Francis Ngannou, doesn't he? But I just think that fight gets better and better. The closer we get, the more intriguing that gets, and the more the more certain jeopardy there is there, doesn't it? But like I say, I will save my preview. I won't give any more away, but I'll save my preview to nearer the time. Moving on to Tyson Fury, very briefly. I watched an interview with Sam Jones. As you know, Sam Jones, my guy, big fan of Sam Jones. Saying that, don't agree with everything he says, but he did make a good point against Tyson Fury. Now, what are we estimating Tyson Fury is earning for the Alexander Usyk fight? I mean, I don't think 100 million in Saudi is out of the way. Okay, so I would not be amazed by a figure of around that. Now, in terms of Fury saying he's going to do 5 more fights, knowing how much Fury likes the coin, as we all do to a certain extent, but if he goes into the Usyk fight and makes 100 million on the back of that, are we to assume Fury then goes back to the kind of level of, say, Hrgovic or I don't know, pick anyone in around there. But will Fury go and put himself through a camp for, say, and I would expect, say, if Fury did fight Hrgovic, I would say he's going to be earning probably 70 or 80% less. Will Fury put himself through the camp and the slog again against a fight of like a Hrgovic in, say, the UK? Or do we believe he's going to fight exclusively in Saudi now? But I believe a fight like Hrgovic would kind of bring back to the UK. Will he go through that? Will he be prepared to put himself through that for substantially less money when now, certainly, after the Usyk fight, he don't need the money anymore if he did before? But yeah, good point. For that reason, is this Tyson Fury's last fight? Very possibly so. I watched an interview with Devin Haney, and as we know, we've had Haney Garcia announced for April 26, which I think is a great fight. Now, when it comes to Ryan Garcia, first off, I think you do have to accredit Ryan Garcia with the fact that he'll fight anyone, sort of in any order. He doesn't care. And that has to be commended. But I haven't watched Ryan Garcia in a couple of long-form interviews now. I do think Ryan Garcia is an arrogant character. And that's not always bad in fighters. Sometimes fighters need a bit of that. But he does come across a very, very arrogant man. And like I say, not just surrounding the boxing, but just when you watch his character in person. But I think Devin Haney smokes him. If I'm brutally honest, I think Devin Haney smokes him and schools him. I saw Devin Haney on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. And certainly at that face-to-face that he had the other day, Ryan Garcia is the taller guy. But in terms of how thick they are and how muscular they are, Devin Haney's a superb athlete for the size of him. He's a big guy. He's a fit guy at the weight. But he's got far better movement than Haney. He's got far superior skills to Haney. Than Garcia. He's got far superior skills to Garcia, far superior movement in everything. He's just a better fighter in every part. Possibly the edge in power lies with Garcia, I think that'd be fair to say. But, Haney for me could be like the new Floyd Mayweather in a way in terms of ability. I think he's that good. I think he's potentially that good. I really do. And Garcia is brave, stroke, arrogant, but I just see Haney absolutely schooling him. I can't see anything other than that. Haney said in that interview that he's working with Ben Davison. That he's worked with Ben Davison and his team, and that all his sparring footage and stuff like that, and even him on the mitts goes back to Team Davison for them to evaluate. And he said that he will be with Ben Davison. He can't. He's not with him at the moment due to logistical and timing reasons. But Devin Haney went on to say about how much he rates Ben Davison and Team Davison. And I've rated Ben Davison for a long time. I've said it on here numerous times. But I sometimes read in the comments where you get the old boxer-sized Ben and all that, and which I always think is funny coming from people in the comments who I'm pretty sure got no experience at all and are an armchair fan, and their opinion of Ben Davison is boxer-sized Ben. Well, listen, just from watching Ben, just from listening to Ben Davison, he's a very technical trainer. He's a very intricate trainer, but he's a very good trainer nonetheless. Lee Woodall testament to that. Josh Shaw testament to that. I've no doubt Ben Davison's quality and pure class. And if the likes of Devin Haney is talking about Ben Davison in such high regard, then you can kind of believe that is so. But Yeah, that was a good interview with Devin Haney. He's a good guy. I like Devin Haney. He's a class act. I'm a big fan. Really look forward to his future. But in terms of Garcia, smokes him, I'm afraid. So yeah, a week away, a lot of stuff. In this week, we're going to do a lot of build up to this card. I want to touch on Nick Ball as well, his upcoming fight, because as you all know, I'm a huge Nick Ball fan. So I'm really looking forward to that. But we'll do some lovely build up stuff. I haven't yet seen that. Has anyone else seen? There's a new promotional trailer for Knockout Cats, which I haven't seen yet. So I'll come out as well. Have a look at that. That was it for today. Small video. Not a lot to talk about for me personally, but there's more to build up coming up to Joshua versus Ngannou, which I'm fully on board for and cannot wait, if I'm honest. So I'll see you soon. I'm out.